Hey there, it's been a while since I've done a video. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. In the past videos, I've noticed that I had talked about you, and less about me, because I've thought that me talking about me, saying what I think, was a bit more selfish. And speaking to you was more right, because I was sharing my feelings, sharing the way I look at the world, but really it wasn't. It just sounded like I was preaching. I ain't a preacher. I ain't anything like that. I'm simply a man who loves the world. I'm another human being. And as I've said in the past, we're all beings. We're all infinite beings of divine light. And it's the truth. Sun's getting bright. I don't think I'm gonna bust into a ball of fire, since that's apparently something that will all combust because of this global warming shit. Well, goodness, thank goodness for the globalists that are gonna be covering up the sun for us, blocking our sun, so, oh goodness, we won't die from global warming. Yeah, if you believe that hunk of shit. So as I really was saying and getting at, I'm not somebody that really, if I don't want to be told what to do, why would I tell somebody else what to do? I can give guidance, but by telling them what to do isn't giving them guidance. Offering guidance would be what I would suggest, sharing what I've gone through, and possibly as examples, ways to guide. I say, what could you contribute? What can I contribute? And I had believed what I can contribute is saying, here are these steps, this is what you can do. And it was more so that I was preaching instead of talking about myself. This is what the video is about, me talking about me. I'm not sitting there talking to anybody else. I'm talking to me and the camera and sharing with the world, whoever watches this, So I want to try it a little bit different this time. Truly, I can see this world going in a direction of peace. We can look at this world in a different light, in which we truly can take within each other what we see within ourselves and look at another in the eyes, speaking to them as if we are speaking to ourselves. Those speaking as if they are enlightened must look at another and speak to them as if they are enlightened. Or else, it's kind of as if you're looking down upon them. I'd rather not be preached at by somebody. So why would I want to preach at somebody? Yeah, I once had the nickname Preacher, and that doesn't settle well with me. Because then part of me just feels like that just sounds like I'm blowing smoke out of my ass. I'm no preacher. That I was just some stoned ass hippie, just trying to share the message, and people don't give a damn about that. That just sounds like the guy somebody walks past on the street. And I ain't that kind of guy. I see us as a collective, as one, as we are infinite beings of divine light. I see us in the light. I see us as leaves on the same tree. And some fall with the wind, but with a strong tree we all stay together. And we just go with the current. And each of us, we're on different trees, different branches, many different roots, all coming from the same earth, all coming from the ground up. We start as seeds and we grow beyond. We can grow towards the sky. The sky is the limit. Yet, truly there is no end within the sky. Only what we perceive as the sky is what we call our limits, so to speak, in that term. But we seem to be wanting to burn everything to the ground. I would love to see the world a little less cold, hearts warmer, yet not see this world burn to the ground. People say they want peace, yet they'll go to war for it. People say they love one another, yet despise the other for not agreeing. Agreeing to disagree isn't the worst thing in the world. Because even if you disagree, you can also look at somebody in the right light. We can look at each other in a brighter light, a brighter sense. Like I said, we're infinite beings of divine light. We all have a light source within us. Oh, for goodness sakes, we've had the Pentagon, we've had our governments all across the world disclose information. We've had so many, countless numbers of sightings of UFOs and evidence of intelligent life, yet we still are complaining and fighting about race, which begs the question, is race simply just a mundane thought process that human beings are holding on to? In this generation, this younger generation, I see nobody questioning anything. The only things that they're questioning are stupid things. They're not questioning this government. They're not questioning that truly the power is in the people, not the government. They aren't looking for the love of power being overcome by the power of love. They're seeking power, thinking that that's overpowering power, when in actuality that's just trying to show and cause a shift in power. When in actuality the love of power needs to be overcome by the love of the power of love. Excuse me. And of course, that's how we find peace. Of course. Let me move this back a little bit so you can see a little bit more of me. There we go. You know, bigger guy right there, a little bigger guy. Sometimes I feel heavier. I feel like a heavy guy because I'm a bigger guy. And I could either use that in a self-conscious, lower self-confidence, insecure way. Or I can give more power within myself as a being, understanding that I am a being within a vessel that I must respect. Changing my diet has been a blessing. And each of us must treat our vessels with respect. I don't agree with this confusion of genders, this transgender thing that people talk about. As a being, I don't really agree with that because you did not hit the wrong button when you incarnated into this world. You didn't. So when a man's saying that he's a woman instead, that's just something screwed up in the mental. And people don't like to hear that because those with the transgender thought process, the mind process, are those who are having the hardest time. And I hear they're the most depressed. Well, more than likely you're more depressed because the person is having to deal with the hardship of convincing themselves they are the opposite sex and get upset and angry at anybody that tells them otherwise. So that's a constant struggle. First thing we see the government do in this shift of administrations in the United States, after promising what we would call community, they would like to call the black community, promising them gold, yet they go to something completely different, as in straight in. They promise them the world, yet all of a sudden they just go straight into executive order for transgenders. It's as if this is a mind program, mind controlling thing. The conspiracies! You can call a conspiracy whatever you want to call it. They used to call science a conspiracy because that's the way the church worked. That's how they keep in power. Spirituality was a conspiracy against the church for years. Pagans were burned on the stake for having any sort of a different belief other than by God, Jesus. You don't believe in such, you're dead. Here's a guillotine. You go against the patriarch. You go against the hierarchy. You go against authority. You're dead. Here's the guillotine for you the whole time. You know? That's how it is today with the government. And you can't question anything because then they want to cancel you. They want to keep everybody quiet. They want to keep people in a enslaved mentality, while saying to them that they have the power, and they want to keep poking a bear with a stick, getting them angry to go at everybody else. And they use race primarily as this, because they want to keep everything from the past alive. Race is their biggest tool of manipulation. Those of the power. You can look at however politicians you want to look at. Politicians, politics, the government, that power uses race as a weapon. Because we are in a new age of a new paradigm shift. Our Earth is going into a new, I would say, age. The age of Aquarius. We're moving into a new age, a new shift in dimensions, I would say. Which I used to believe in the Ascension, yet I've come to believe more of a Dissension. Because if we ascend, we're giving up. We're going into the fifth dimension, then we're just giving up our third dimension. And that's just stupid, you know? That's stupid if we're going to be just, we're giving up on this third dimension. We're just going to go and fall asleep. We're going to leave our bodies and go to a fifth dimensional state. I believe what we need to do is be grounded in our third dimensional bodies, in our vessel. We can do more. If I was in the fifth dimension, I couldn't do this. I couldn't touch my skin. This is a 3D thing. This is a third dimensional thing where I can smell, taste, touch, see, hear. I can just feel anything and everything. I can feel whether it's dirt or just smooth skin upon my fingers, you know. I can feel these things. I can hear these things. I can taste water. You know, or the tastelessness of water, however you would say it. You know, water doesn't have taste, some people say. The Dissension would be bringing down that energy, that cosmic light, the cosmic energy from the universe, and letting it go into your body. A dissension, I would say, from an experience of mine is when I was meditating with a friend. Of course, stoned off my ass. Nonetheless, meditating, and instead of being on my couch, my friend laid on the couch and I laid in my rocking chair. Sat in the rocking chair. And I kind of let myself go with the music. There's a great channel on YouTube, Meditative Mind. Everybody should check it out. They're loving it. I let myself go into my breath deeper, cleared my mind a bit, and I felt the rising, not of, my body leaving, but a rising in, I would say, my vibration. And I could feel kind of as an elevator. I could feel this shift going up, and I just had to keep telling myself, don't be afraid of it. It's natural. The universe is doing this. We're in a natural process. We're seeing a lot of things be revealed to us as a civilization. Remember, we're a human race. We're a civilization. We're a culture. As one, we must look at ourselves as one, or else we're going to stay divided and be easy to conquer. Simple as that. They like to put us as duality, white and black. That's the biggest thing. They like racial wars. The people at top, the people in power, the governments, those in control. And you can place whatever stipulation you want to on it. Because I know that if I put any names or anything like that on it, I'm going to be attacked. Hell, look at my hat and the color of my skin. Immediately somebody thinks I'm a racist. Somewhere in there. Somewhere watching this, somebody thinks I'm a racist. Primarily because of the color of my skin and my appearance. From the get-go. They will not listen to this, and if I was preacher, I preached of love. I'm no preacher. I say be an embodiment of love. And I can do something about love and the self later. Because self is a personality. Personality is as a program, a collection of the programs within the subconscious. And love is being. Love is being. There is no real state of love because somebody can say they love their husband. They hate him at the same time. I love my wife, but they get on my nerves all the fucking time. Things you hear. Love is a state of being. Is an existence. Love is an energy of such wonderful, you feel that kind of that vibration when you think of, and it's not even think of love, it's feel love, the feeling of love. You can't put a word on it. There's no condition on it when you don't put one on it. Many people, it's disturbing and it's sickening when we put stipulations, conditions on love. I love this person as this. If they do not fit this, I cannot love them. That's conditional. I digress. And therein, they don't want love. Those at power, those of the government. Politicians hate love. The only thing they love is power. They don't believe in the overcoming of power. They don't believe in the power of love. They believe in the love of power. Politicians. Because without power, they have nothing. Notice how after we pulled out of one war, we finally ended a war in the United States. We finally ended our war and we get our troops home. And all of a sudden, a shift in administration, and then bam, we're being pulled back in the war. We're being coaxed back into a war. Notice how there wasn't any coaxing. There was no threats truly of war during a past administration because nobody really wanted to screw with us. Nobody wanted to screw with the Americans during this past administration because, well, you weren't going to fuck with that president. You couldn't. You shouldn't. That's why they didn't like him. That's why they wanted him out of office, because you couldn't manipulate him. This one, he's a tool. He's a puppet. And that's disappointing. That's disappointing that those behind him, the vice president and beyond, I say beyond because he's just a tool now, are horrible anti-Americans, anti-people. They use people, such as today, politicians, the government are using race, that mundane thought process, mundane system of being. Remember, we're infinite beings of divine light. Remember, there's been so much disclosure, so much evidence of extraterrestrial beings out there within the universe. Everybody wants to say, oh, there are aliens out there, yet you still can't get over the fact that, one color versus another color is very mundane and stupid. That somehow everybody's a different race, even though we're one unified race, yet we're being told that we're not. Simply because an individual is individually made doesn't mean that they are, how would I say, thrown into this category, labeled as such. Yeah, that's what they'd like. As soon as you're born, pop, you have a stamp on your head and you're sent into this category, this ethnicity. Of course you have gender as male or female, and now they want to confuse everybody. Boys and men in this next generation are freaking weak. And just to be honest, they are. Skinny jean wearing hipsters, I don't want to judge. I really don't. But you punch one in the face and they go crying. And they all want to take pictures and say how horrible somebody is. But they're just weak. They're weak from within. And it's unfortunate. Because everybody has their feelings. Everybody has these feelings. You're not in your feelings, you're in your head. That's the thing, you're in your head, you're not in your feelings. Because if you felt, your intuition would say many different things. Your intuition would say, follow the heart. Your intuition would be right on the ball, right then and there, and you wouldn't doubt things. It's like, I doubt doing videos. I doubt what I've said, but then at the same time I have to trust myself. I have to trust the intuition. I have to trust my heart, because my heart's not wrong. Your heart can be in the right place, and as long as you follow your heart, no matter how many backlashed waves or anything that you get, however way that you step into the pool, you'll still feel solid. You'll still feel as if you were as strong as a tower, as strong as an ox. Yet as easy to bend as wind. Because you're not going to be broken. And if that doesn't make any sense, that's okay. Not everybody gets it. It makes sense inside of my head, so that's all that matters. And everybody can interpret their own things in their own ways. I can't judge another. I can only observe. I shouldn't really assess, yet I must observe things as they are, because if I don't be aware and see things as they are, well then I'm either going to lie to myself, or I'm just sticking my head in the sand. People don't want to see that we're being easily manipulated. Our generation, now I'm from the 90s, Those considered 90s are the ones that are born in, 90 to 91. Those younger are really those raised in the millennial 2000s, which really got very easily manipulative. The schools, God, they don't teach them like they used to. They're so politically run now. Universities, I spent 8 years trying to get a degree. And of course, those who watch this are going to be judging me like, oh my God, he's so stupid. He didn't even get a degree. Well, I got more wisdom and experience, even if I didn't get a degree. So that's a blessing there. Look at everything as a blessing. Everything as a blessing. Because everything is a blessing if you decide to make it so. You have that free choice. You have free will. And I saw a decline in personality. I saw a decline in strength, in the soul. People are getting pulled away from their soul. I was. I mean, now you look at politics now. You have a left and a right, liberals and conservatives, Democrats and Republicans. You have, and the liberal mentality has taken over like none other. You basically, if you don't believe, you're gonna die. And people are scared to believe otherwise, because if they don't believe in this liberal mindset and live within this, and if they question it, they're somehow going to be pulled under, such as they're going to hate me. I'm pretty sure that anybody who considers themselves left or liberal or whatever, some transgender, some however way you want to label yourself, is going to hate me. Instead of assess the situation and observe it as what it is, as them being another being, as I see them, and they see themselves in a mentality through a personality sense, characteristic yet unconscious, because they live through an unconscious state, not a conscious state. Those who say that they're woke are really just still, if they're awake, they only have their eyes opening and they're just coming out swinging because they think everything else is against them. You get the plug pulled, and we see the Matrix, and when Neo awakens, he has the plug pulled from the back of his head and he comes out and machines are there looking at him. I would say those who say that they're woke are the ones that are opening their eyes and they're just seeing the world for what it is, and they're just seeing what they've known, going based off of what they've known and been told, and just come out swinging, not seeing what's new, not seeing it from a different perspective, not seeing it in a different light. And it's something we don't like. People to rather fight. People rather go to war. People rather destroy to try and make a point. They rather hate, thinking that that's how they're going to find some kind of a justice. People are only trying to validate their own bullshit. That's all. You want to say you're held down? Well, you're holding yourself down. And the only way that you're being held down and suppressed is, one, by your own mentality, because that's how it is. That's how I've been. I suppress myself with my own mentality. I argue for limitations, or argued for limitations. Still do, because I think, everybody's going to judge me by me making this video. And they're going to call me a horrible person. Yet, those are all things that go on in my head first. To where then, I don't even want to click record. I just want to sit there, just wishing that I said something or did something. When in actuality, I'm not. And I think that I'm doing something because I'm not doing anything. And there goes that cycle of just keeping the human being in place instead of letting them venture out. Instead of letting the person see through the cracks of this simulation. You want to keep you looking at the simulation, even though there's a crack, there's a doorway an open doorway. You have chains on you, and you're the one that has the key within your hand, but yet you still see yourself and keep yourself chained. That's a enslaved mentality. That's a prison mentality. And it ain't right. The governments do this to people. We're in 2021 now. And they're still making those in, I would say, and I don't really like the word culture because they try to put race with it. Yet, in order for me to communicate to anybody, I have to say this, those of the black community. I have to say it like that, because that's the only way anybody's going to be able to interpret what I'm saying. They have them in this kind of a enslaved mentality that they're still being held down, when the only way that they're being held down is only by choice, because nobody can truly hold them down. Nobody can hold this community down. Nobody can hold any community down, any group of people, except by division and by mental, spiritual warfare, mentally and spiritually holding them down. We all come from different origins, different ancestries, because that's what we chose to incarnate into. Because as we incarnated into those, we have we enjoy them. We incarnated into this world to enjoy these things. This is one of the most exciting planets in the entire universe, because we are one of those planets that have free will. The freedom of expression. People are like, well, we don't really have freedoms, your rights and freedoms are just privileges and made up. Well, you know what? No, you have freedoms, universal freedoms. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to speak. I wouldn't be able to feel. Those are the things. You would be limited to only a certain amount of things, and those in the government, they want you to be limited. They want you to feel limited. They want you to feel trapped. They want you to feel held down. So if you're at this level, they can range all through here, but if you start rising up, they start having little power until you're on the same level. The people are on that level. The people can rise above. Without the people, politicians have no power. The power is in the people. Such as those in China and the communist country. Those people, if every military man decided to throw down their weapons and stop fighting, and of course, I'm for the rights to bear arms to protect yourself. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. So, if they decided to stop the urge and desire to go to war, feeling threatened and feeling that they must protect what is threatened, when not everything is, you're not always threatened. You're only threatened if you're threatened because somebody else is threatening you, and they only feel threatened because they feel like they have to protect something. That makes sense. Usually